let some people flow in, and then we'll get started. All right, we're getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you all are doing well. Get all this stuff going. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for educational, informational purposes without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information, feel free to read through this. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Great. So we're going to start out, as always, on the Nasdaq, and I've got, as always, going through these 5 pairs. These are the 5 that I like to trade, not because for any particular purpose. I'm of the belief that a chart is a chart. They all reflect human behavior. You can choose whichever ones you'd like, and I've got a bunch over here. So as I get through these 5, I will, of course, take requests, and we'll go through and look at the other ones as well. All right, we're going to be looking at the Nasdaq first, like I said. And as always, just going through and trying to find the templates that reflect the setups that I have in my playbook the best, all right? So I've got Nasdaq, US 30, the Russell, oil, gold, and I'm going to go through and look at either 3-day cycles or weekly templates, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, being day 3 of the week, always day 3 of the week, to try and find a Monday and a Tuesday, kind of like a math equation where Monday plus Tuesday equals Wednesday. So I'm looking for a template that will reflect something that I can maybe find a trade on based off of that template. And that's what keeps things repeatable, and that's what keeps things consistent. I'm not looking for directional moves. I'm not looking for anything like that. I find a template that is set up as in a certain way based off of Monday and Tuesday, and then I look at the day itself, or on the day itself, and make decisions as we go into 9:30 and into the New York session in order to decide whether or not I actually have a trade. So I've got some notes up here already, and we're going to go through. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm on a 5. I should go to a 15. There we go. And taking a look and seeing where we're at as far as, are we up high, are we down low, how many weeks of breakouts. I'm not going to go super far into that. There's at least 1 week of breakouts, so we've been going up. Great. Now, as far as this week has gone, Monday and then Tuesday, so we're going to do Monday plus Tuesday equals Wednesday. And thinking back to, if you haven't seen that tips and tricks slide, it's on my Discord. The link's in the description. Discord is free, of course. And in the resources section, I have that slide up there. It's like a little guide. It goes through, I think, 7 points, and it describes each kind of template that you can kind of look for to give you that equation. Either whether you're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it really doesn't matter. The templates are going to be the same. So, starting out on Tuesday, we had a breakout that attempted to go lower outside of Monday's high and low. So we had the opening range on Monday, and then they tried to go lower on Tuesday. This is actually what I ended up trading long yesterday. I took 50 points, and then I closed, which obviously, looking at this, I probably should have held on a little bit longer, but that's okay. So this was day 1 of the 3-day cycle, because this was a forced low. They attempted to force a low and break out, and it failed, and then they went back to the other side. So that's day 1 of the cycle. That means that today is day 2 of the cycle. So it's not day 3 of the cycle, although today is day 3 of the week. And I actually had some questions yesterday about that. Monday's always day 1. Wednesday is always day 3 within the weekly template. However, when you're talking about the 3-day cycle, the 3-day cycle can be on any day of the week. Could be a Friday and carries over into the next week. So it's a little bit different, but the template is still the same, whether you're looking at the 3-day cycle or the weekly templates. So trying to not lose my train of thought, but I keep getting distracted. My fault. Day 1 of the cycle. Now, this was also a breakout day. They closed in breakout. And then looking at today, they've also made a higher high. So I've got some notes over here about what I would actually be looking for. Number 1, is this breakout going to succeed or fail? Whenever a day closes in breakout, the idea is always going to be, because the market only does 3 things: breakout, pullback, and trend. Breakout, reverse, and trade to the other side of the range, or maybe the 50% of the range. We're not in a trading range right now. It's broken out. So I need to decide which of those 2 options that I can receive. So that's where these notes come from over here. If I was going to look for a long trend trade, I would look for 3 levels of drop and trying to find trades coming off of the low of the day. And what would that actually look like? What would that actually entail? Basically, they would trigger the low of the day. So a lot of things would need to happen between now and then. They would need to trigger the low of the day, put in a lower high, and then trade back up and make a higher high. That would make me believe that trade could be setting up. So I'll draw that up there. So it'd be like lower low, low of day, lower high, maybe like a higher low, and then we would be going higher, or lower low, higher high, pullback, right? And then the trend back up. That would be a good low of day trade that I would be looking for if that were to set up that way. As of right this very second, it's not really quite set up that way, but that's okay. So let's go back to the 15-minute chart. The other thing that I could be looking for is the lower low, lower high, reversal, basically coming off of the high of the week. We've broken out, and is that breakout going to succeed or fail? We start making lower lows and lower highs. Let's take a look at structure real quick. We had a 2-bar pullback over here that went higher, so I'll call that a new higher high. So this would be my higher low right here. If they were to break this and make a lower low, and then it's only 8 o'clock right now, so if they were to pull back something like this, some kind of 3-push pullback and engulf back down, giving us a new peak formation high, this would be like where the pump began. Trades down through that level. I'm looking to get in on the lower high pullback on the engulfment to continue to go back down lower. And if this breakout were to fail, now I can say, okay, well, there's trap volume at the high of the current week, and maybe we're going to go back for the money at the other side of the range. Okay, so those would be my 2 options for the Nasdaq based off of the facts, the things that are up on the screen right now. Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully that's not anything insane. All right, I take all the objective details and I create the scenarios and I go from there, okay? US 30. All right, starting over on Monday. Monday was an inside day. Now they've hit both sides of the range, so they've cleared the board. We had an inside day. They triggered on both sides of that inside bar, so they cleared the board. Both longs and shorts have been triggered and stopped out. Good stuff. Now, that also creates day 1 of the 3-day cycle because it's like a reset. They spike both sides, reset the cycle day 1. Now it's day 2. Bit of an interesting, I don't know if there was news or if this is just some, Rambo bar down through the low, but 6:30 this morning, there was a big, crazy down closed bar. Day 1 of the cycle, outside bar. This is where the previous week's low is. We actually had another outside day back over here. All of these details that I'm pointing out are relevant, but not necessarily important. So we're in this big trading range right now. Between a high of Friday and a low of Friday, all of this is just on the inside, which is actually important. I don't really necessarily want to trade this when it's on the inside like this. I would actually rather just find another pair that is already on the outside, if that makes sense. So this is like the trading range, and I don't really want to be trading on the inside of a trading range. I've said this quite a bit about when I notice a trading range or when I notice that I'm on the inside of a range, it becomes very low probability in my mind, and it's not even really worth me taking a look at because there's lots of other pairs out there that will provide higher probability, better opportunities, so I'm going to move on. We're going to go to the Russell. We'll take a look at the Russell. Outside day on Friday, restarting the 3-day cycle. Okay, so day 1, day 2. On day 2 of the 3-day cycle, we got a breakout day. Is that breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail? It looks like as of right now, it has failed. So this was a breakout day, a failure day. So day 1, day 2, and that's going to give us day 3 now for the cycle, but also day 3 of the week as well. So we can take a look at that. As far as weekly template, tips and tricks, slide sort of opportunity, there's the high of Monday. Here's the low of Monday, mostly inside. All right, so TR, for talking about the Russell. Glanced over and saw your... Yeah, so this is the breakout day. This is the day that they broke out. They forced a high. This is why I talk about the understanding the cycle and why it's important to understand what the cycle represents. They forced a previous day's high, but then it failed the next day. So them attempting to force this high failed. So this becomes day 1 of the cycle on Monday because that's the day that they forced it. This is the day that it failed. Consolidation day. And then that leads us into day 3 today. So the high taken doesn't matter again. It does, but if different scenario, right? If they would have forced the high and we had trap volume above previous day's high, then yes, this would have become 1 and this would be 2. But that didn't happen. It just consolidated up high. All right. Okay, so as far as signal days and things like that, I didn't really mention those on Nasdaq because I didn't see any. But on this, we have a breakout that has failed, and a close below previous days, or the previous day's close in the open for this current day. So this could be considered first red. And then today's day 3 of the week. So I need to actually take a look and see, as far as overall market, what have we been doing? Take a look at last week. Did we have our first week of breakouts at all? All right, so we got a 1 week of breakouts last week. That was the first week going down, which is actually a signal to look for a 3-day template on this current week that could reflect lower price. Does that mean it's going to happen? Absolutely not. By no means. However, we do have a 3-day template that could possibly reflect going down, right? So we get a big pump up. After week 1 of breakouts, we get day 1, day 2, day 3, a pump up, a first red day, and then now leading into today. So with first red day, what do I need to look for? I need to look for, number 1, end of day consolidation. What does that kind of look like? Don't get too sweaty with it. It matters, but it doesn't matter. Just grab the one that makes the most sense, is the most obvious. I'm going to grab this high and this low. That looks like a decent end of day consolidation, which goes in line with that breakout level pretty well. So I can remove that so I don't have 1,000 lines on my screen. So it looks like today that Asia basically tried to force the high, and then it failed, and we get a new peak formation high coming back down. So now we're making lower lows and lower highs on the day itself, which is good. That's kind of what you want to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of starting to notice a little bit of a bear channel. We've got a peak formation down low. We've got a peak formation up high, and then this channel. And that's great because I know how to trade channels. I know what to look for. I know what characteristics to look for in the channel that allow me to say, hey, could be a decent trade. We're making lower highs within the channel. And what does that actually signify to me? Basically, it signifies that longs are trying to go long and catch the reversal back up. And every time that happens, it immediately gets taken away soon after. Now, what else could that signify to me, or what could basically be a signal for me that this channel is failing? Maybe it's going to break out and do something like this. Well, if they start going back up and letting these longs out of their positions, then that's not good. We got some pretty big down close bars into the low of the day. So there's a good potential or a good reason to believe that this has every ability to go back up. And I know that kind of sounds like, well, it could go up or it could go down. What I'm basically doing is listing off the behavior that I would be looking for both scenarios. So if I want to take this short, I want to see them continue to take it away from these long traders. I can pull up a 5-minute and take a look. Every time that the market rallies higher, it gets taken away. So I want to see that keep happening, and I want to continue to see those longs getting punished. And eventually, on the breakout, hopefully around 9:30, that's where I would be looking to take my trade, okay, if that were to happen. Now, if it, like I said, if it breaks out of this channel, and we get something like this, like a dump and a pump pattern, where it breaks out and it pulls back and then it continues to go higher, they start letting those longs out of their positions, those longs start making money. Well, that doesn't make any sense. They should be trapped and the market should be punishing them. So that's just a little note to kind of be aware of. Ficos, I appreciate that. It means a lot. Let's see. Where have I been? I've been around. Just haven't been doing the live streams. But we're back now. Let's see. Okay, so I went over first red day. I went over the behavior on the day, where the pump began, which I can label. All right, good. I like this. Lower lows and lower highs on the day. As long as that keeps happening, I'm happy. Going to oil. All right, so we had this huge gap down on Monday coming into the new week, which was a breakout day. Is that breakout going to succeed? Is that breakout going to fail? No idea. Yeah, and we've got oil news today. We've also have, I think, 8:30 news as well, so we'll be able to see that while we're on stream, which is great. So anyway, breakout day. They forced the low. We get day 1 of the cycle, which was not a first green day. Day 2 of the cycle. But what I am noticing that is the most, I'll say the most obvious, but when you get these big rectangular consolidations down like this, and especially when they occur for 3 days, a big thing that Stacey talks about, right? The 3-day rectangle and the 3-day setups, looking at those rectangles and big moves coming out of consolidation and just classical charting in general. We've got this big rectangle down low at the low of the week. So this is our, I'll call it trading range, peak formation at the low of the current week. And that leads us into today. So do I have a signal day yesterday? No, I don't have a first green day. As far as actual 3-day templates, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, opening range of the week. Tuesday, breakout that fails. When a breakout fails, possibility or probability of going back towards the other end of the week. And as of today, we are making higher highs and higher lows. So maybe finding a trend trade or a reversal trade coming off of the low back up towards the high. So what would I do in this case, in this scenario? Same thing as I always do. I'm going to look at structure. We're making higher highs and higher lows. Good. There's my box. And then I'm going to look at the current pattern that we have, which is this channel. And the same exact behavior that I talked about for the Russell, I would be looking here now on oil. Do I really want to go long at the high of the day? No. Does that mean that I shouldn't? Probably not. But the process always remains the same. Higher high, wait for the pullback, the higher low. Look how this is pulled back. Push 1, push 2, push 3. What kind of pattern is this? Push, pause, push, pause, push. Peak formation, down, up, down, engulfing bar. There's the W. So this in the gap time has gone through the process. Now I just need to wait for the process to repeat again. However, like I said, we're at the high of the day. So if this starts to break down, have to be aware of that. Okay, maybe not the best as far as the way that it's set up. Because usually I like to find things that are down low to go long and up high to go short. So for example, what I'm saying there is the fact that like we have this peak formation here and that's great. And then we get a breakout. So if this would have been like London here, and then maybe they come back down to the low of the day. They stop hunt into the low of the day. And then we get our squeeze off of the low of the day, giving us space to at least get back to the high of the day, but overall searching for the high of the week. That would be the most ideal. Whereas this, as far as like low-hanging fruit goes, there's really not that much space to get back up through the high of the day. So my reward potential is still there because we have the high of the week, but the probability goes down, that it's going to get there. It's much higher probability to make it back through the high of the day. So whenever you have a setup coming off of the low of the day and the high of the day is your first target, if you have that high of the day further away, the tier of setup is better, right? It's more of a, a 3-star or maybe even a 5-star compared to low-hanging fruit scalps. Just 25 points or pips or whatever. Hopefully that makes sense what I'm saying. Get rid of this. All right. And actually zooming out and looking at this a little bit more and not running my mouth 24/7 and actually stopping to look. This is a pretty clear consolidation, peak formation, consolidation in the middle. Right now we have our channel. This is a bit of a wide channel. And then kind of a pattern within a pattern, if you will, the channel within the channel that we've got now. So we've got peak formation high, peak formation low, pattern within a pattern, and a channel. This is actually looking pretty good. Not bad. Something I probably will be watching. All right. Is everybody following pretty good, or am I going too fast? Is what I'm saying making sense? Or am I speaking 10 different languages? Everybody good? Can you check my comments earlier? Wondering what news could have... Yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't check to see. I was pretty surprised to see it when I checked the chart this morning, Sam. Pinning Golfman at closing. 3 sessions of drop, first green day. Yeah. Possibly, right? I don't want to tell you yes or no, but that's up to you. But that's not a bad sign. All right, good stuff. Let's go to gold. Now, gold, prep your brains, prep your mind. I haven't checked it in over an hour, so hopefully it hasn't changed too much. But when I looked at the chart this morning at gold, I was like, this is going to be my main focus. And I want you all to tell me why. If you've stuck around with me at all for any period of time, I'm hoping that you have an answer. Here we go. Hot garbage. All right. Dang. All right. So these were my notes that I had this morning. I came and checked the chart around 6:30. It was setting up well, and not to say that it can't still be a decent setup, but the criteria has shifted and changed. So let's take a look. Number one, we've got 3 weeks of breakouts. I just saw one of y'all say that. Good stuff. So that's part of the criteria, right? 3 or 4 weeks, signifying a potentially overextended market. Not to say that they can't keep going more weeks of breakouts. However, when you get in combination with a potentially overextended market, along with 2 to 3 days of breakouts, along with you come to the screen and they have 3 sessions of breakout, and it's set up a certain way, ooh, I think that's probably, honestly, it really is my favorite setup. People ask me that, and I kind of knew what to say, and I kind of didn't, but because they're all setups to me. But when I see this one, this is like I'm ready. This is the only thing I need to look at today. This is perfect. So I've pulled up my playbook page from that setup. 2 of the different variations, 2 of the 3 variations. The other variation is just 3 peaks. Same criteria, breakout in Asia, 3 sessions. But the other variation would have just been 3 peaks. This is the breakout level, and then they go back to the breakout level. Okay. I actually just couldn't fit it all up on the screen, so that's why it's not there. What is going on? TradingView doesn't like this. Okay. So this is what I was looking for. 3 sessions of breakout. Breakout, base, space, trades into the high of the day and breaks down. Okay. Base, space. This is the space to get back down in the previous day's high, and then trades back into the previous day's high, high of the day, and then breaks down. Those are perfect. The big details to note in these is the previous day's high is untested. The base allows for the market to trade back through that very quickly, back into previous day's high to stop out those breakout traders and beyond. And then a lot of times you'll get like a ramp, some kind of ramping volume up into the highs. And that's another big detail because that's order flow for the move back down. Again, something that I learned from Stacey. So we had all of those things leading into the session. I think I checked this about right over here, 6:30. We had the breakout, 3 sessions, the base, we had the space, and then now they've came back down and they penned. Yep, the ramp has been taken. They penned into previous day's high. And again, does that mean that it can't keep going lower? No, but does that mean that it's perfect? Also, yeah, it doesn't. It's just not perfect anymore. So still something to watch. Let's go and poke out the details. I'm going to get rid of some of these lines because they look a little ridiculous. All right, let's take a look at structure. Higher highs, higher lows. Obviously, we've been breaking out to the upside, 3 weeks of breakouts. Okay, so we broke out. We made a higher high here. We get a few bars of pullback. So we could probably call this a decent swing low here. And then this is our high. So we get a high. Excuse me. So we got a higher low, higher high, and we've been pulling back now into that higher low. All right. Something like this. Is this going to be a dump for a pump or a pump and a dump, and this is going to start breaking down? Those are my only 2 questions for this trade. We've got 3 levels of rise probably, if I had to guess. Let me see. Tuesday, breakout of Monday's high. That's an opening range breakout. It was 300. Oh, yeah, we definitely exceeded that. That's a shame. I was really hoping for that good 3 sessions breakout trade, but no big deal. All right, so same as always. To look for a short, I need to see a lower low. They need to break down. Then I need to get a lower high as far as the process that I'd be looking for in order to take the trade. Lower low, I wait for the lower high, basically the first pullback, and then on the engulfment of the new peak formation being a head and shoulders, double top, whichever variation it presents. This would be an extended. This would be a shortened, basically like this. Basically like a lower high, double top. Or, of course, there's sometimes when the tops are fairly equal. I really don't care for those because a lot of times they seem to be traps, but regardless, that's what I'm looking for. Would I be looking for the long? Not really my favorite template to look for the trend trade, but I'll keep that in the back of my brain. Yep, Sam, that's a good comment to make. That's a very strong possibility. And we have to assume that until proven otherwise, right? Because we're still in a bullish structure. If they break down, I can believe that, to look for the different setup. All right, so that was the 5 pairs that I'll be looking at for today for day 3 of the week. We got the news coming in. Let's take a look. Not too explosive. Not too explosive. Not too explosive. Nothing crazy. All right, I saw silver. That was the first request. What did I just do? There we go. Take a glance. We'll take a gander. All right, so same thing, same process as always. Monday, opening range for the week. Tuesday, breakout day. Is it going to be a successful breakout or is it going to be a failed breakout? Then we look at today. After putting up the end of day consolidation and taking a glance at structure. Let's see. Higher high, 1 bar pullback doesn't count. That's fine. So we get a higher high. So this low, the breakout level, the breakout low over here was the low. And then now we've came back down from that high. which builds a rectangle now. And we'll mark off this consolidation up top. Okay, so this could be push 1 down and 2, and then maybe 3 down into the low. Are we going to get a peak formation down low? I don't know. So I could be marking this as like 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then maybe a peak formation. And then if the peak formation were to occur and we start getting a breakout on day 3, this would be a decent trend trade back through the high. And same as always, if we make a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high on day 3 at the high of the week, where's the money? Back down at the low of the week for the pump. The consolidation up high, and then the dump. Okay. What did someone say? First green day? Let's take a look at last week. No, the first green day was on Friday. This is the dump leading into Friday, first green day. Monday, first green day trade, low of day. But this was a breakout day. All just a matter of terminology, I suppose. Yeah, my fault. I need to zoom out a little bit for y'all. We had this was the first green day. So this was day 1 of the 3-day cycle as well. And we got day 2. Day 2 is a consolidation day. They didn't trend away from day 1 highs or lows. They just stayed in the middle inside. And then on day 3, they broke out. But that leads us into all those details that I just listed off for today. Okay. Yep, 3 sessions of drop, 3 levels of drop. Coming off the high of the week. Is the breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail? This is building the rectangle. Cody, no worries. Let's, while I'm waiting for new suggestions, hopefully y'all give me some suggestions. Here you go, Cody. These are my notes on what I would be looking for on the day for either scenario. 3 levels of drop, low of day trend trade because we have a breakout day on day 2 of the week, day 1 of the cycle. Is that breakout going to succeed or is that breakout going to fail? Maybe something a little like this. For the other example, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but we get a lower low, lower high reversal from the high of the week. The breakout maybe doesn't succeed. Instead, it fails, and that would turn into a pump and a consolidation for the old dumperoonie back down below the week. Dollar CAD. All right. Good suggestion. Let's go dollar CAD. Do a little zoom out. Take a look how many weeks we've got. Oh, we've been going up for a minute. All right, let me go to 1 hour. Okay, looks like the first week of breakouts was, we're going to call it this week just to be safe. Week 1 up, week 2 up, and then we got week 3 up. All right, so now we have at least 3 weeks of breakouts. So what, kind of setups could we be looking for after 3 weeks of breakouts? Again, that doesn't mean that they're going to go back down. That 3 weeks of breakouts doesn't mean, hey, it's going to reverse now. That's not what it means. But we can look for opportunities or setups now for an overextended market for a potential reversal. So maybe something like 3 days of breakouts, 3 days of breakouts ending in 3 sessions of breakout. Maybe we get a first red day, like a huge pump up, a blow off move, and then a first red day. With a lower low, it'd be like, okay, so now the reversal is showing the characteristics of a reversal along with the fact that we have those 3 weeks of breakouts. So let's look at the details that we got. Day 1 of the cycle. I can't tell if that's a first red day, but then it goes vertical the next day. So day 1, we get a repeat. So this was a peak formation low, peak formation high. And then now leading into the new day, this was an outside day. And I'll put the little 1 up there. They cleared the board. And again, same thing as always, is the breakout succeeding? Is it failing? Nice low of day trade coming off Like I said, the low of the day. Just said that. Crazy, right? First pullback, all in the gap time. Now we're back up at the high. Let's take a look at structure real quick. We're making higher highs and higher lows. Very obvious. Polly, no worries. Just glad you made it. Okay, so we had a higher high. And this is why it's so important to look at structure, because look how convincing this is. Oh my gosh. That's what these bars say to me. And I say this sarcastically, of course, but I mean, it's the truth, right? Oh my gosh, the market's going to zero. We got the biggest down close bars of the day going straight down. It looks like they're leaving the consolidation. They're breaking down. Oh no. And then the biggest bar on the chart reverses. And then you get a 1 bar range at the low of the day and a breakout. So it's really important to look at structure. This was the low. There's a high, a 2 bar pullback, so it followed the rules. Gives us a nice swing low. They make a higher high. They failed to make a lower low after going vertical into the low. Give us the peak formation at the low of the day. And then now we've traded back up to the high. And 3 legs. That's really all I have on this. I don't see anything particular that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Other than the fact that we've done these 3 legs back to the high. I would be watching the high of the day to see if they put in a peak formation high. But that's about it. And someone said something about all the CAD news, and I'd have to go look and see what times those are, because I forgot. Naughty me. That's really the only thing I would look for, just because the swing low is so far away. The swing low is all the way back down at the low of the day, and we're at the high of the week. If this were to start putting in, peak formation high, they trap volume up here, and it were to break down, that would give us a decent amount of space for them to come back down. All right, and that would, in my mind, I would be saying, okay, well, this is like maybe push 1 and 2 and then 3, so maybe we have volume trapped above 3. I would look for them to start putting the shorts in the money. Is that likely to happen? I don't know. I'd have to wait. Okay, you got 1 bar, you got 1 engulfment. I'm just looking at the facts. Okay, it's before 9:30. We're at the low of the day, and that's fine. You've got 1 engulfment. They traded back down into the low. Peak formation, they're coming back up. I don't know. At the close of this bar, you have a little bit more information. I can't tell you for sure. I don't want to tell you for sure, if I'm being honest, because that would I want you all making your own choices. Any other suggestions? I'd feel a lot better, Sam, once it starts closing above here. If I was personally trading this right now and I was in this long, my concern would be 3 peaks to continue lower. But if I was long, my thoughts would be, hey, this is a big W, and on a higher time frame, I want to see them start closing bars up here. Now, like I said, it is before 9:30, so this is a big no-go time for me anyway, which is why we're doing the streams. Any other suggestions for pairs? If not, we're going to end here. And that's fine. Hopefully you all got something out of this stream. Or at the very least, if you're still learning the cycle, you're still learning the pairs and things like that, hopefully you just picked up on a little price action pieces here and there about trapping volume and on the day itself, what to look for. The cycles and the templates are really easy to learn. It's usually what people struggle with is on the day, what do I do? When do I do it? So I'm trying to include that in my on-the-day analysis stuff. Pound CAD. Ooh, okay. Looks like maybe an early mover. So this is a trade in process coming off of London. 3 days of breakouts starting on Thursday of last week. Day 1 breakouts, day 2 breakouts. Day 3 breakouts that did actually go back down, but they stayed in breakout the next day, so we can continue. This is day 3 breakouts. They attempted for a 4th. They forced the high. So in a scenario like this is another one. Again, whenever you have 3 days of breakouts, this could be an extended run where they do 5, 6, 7 days of breakouts in one direction, which is frequent. Multiple times throughout the year, you'll see multiple pairs do this. It's just on a larger time frame range expansion going higher or lower. So you got to watch out for that. The big thing that I like to look for when this happens on 3 days of breakouts, the biggest piece of my criteria is the lower low. All right, so let's take a look at structure. Real clean high. This is the lowest point that they pulled back to before making that new high. And then they made a lower low. So we're making lower lows and lower highs coming into the New York session. Is this breakout going to succeed or is this breakout going to fail? Like I said, this is a trade in process coming off of London. High of day, high of week. You know, are we going back for the money? Peak formation low. Rise. Rise. And a rise. So this would be like 1, 2, 3. Consolidation in level 3 is common. Chop back and forth, collect orders, whatever. And then the breakdown. Budget day here. And it don't look good. Yeah, Stuart, I think that it said pound news was all day long, right? Or was that the tentative one? I checked the schedule this morning, but Paulie? All afternoon? Okay. I was late. Yeah, no worries. Paulie, this is what I've got. These are my notes for the 2 scenarios for Nasdaq. Breakout, succeed or fail. Yesterday was day 1 of the cycle. Weekly template wise, again, breakout day, probability of Wednesday trend trade goes up unless the breakout fails. The breakout failing would be this lower low, lower high, high of week reversal scenario. Right now we're just in consolidation. But this is looking decent. I would just need to wait for more information. US 30 was a no-go for me. We're in this outside day range from Friday. It's all on the inside. I'm going to wait for them to go to the outside. This is all get smoked in the middle garbage, in my opinion. The Russell, peak formation high, peak formation low yesterday. We've got a consolidation channel in the middle. Today's day 3. Day 1 was because they broke out on Monday. Day 2 is because they failed on Tuesday. And day 3 is today. Day 3 is also Wednesday, 3rd day of the week. So that's what I've got for this. Wednesday, or excuse me, oil, 3-day rectangle. Nice. It's nice to see that we talked about it here on the stream, and then it immediately happened. Of course, we're not in it because we're on the stream right now talking to each other. But also, I like to trade oil after 9 o'clock. The fact that this is happening in the first hour, a little wackadoodle. It's all right, though. We'll see how it develops. Peak formation high, peak formation low, day 1 of the cycle. Day 3 of the week. Peak high, peak low, consolidation, acceleration, And then now we have the breakout. And there's news on oil, like you just said, TR. Thank you. Going back for the high of the week. Gold. Gold was the one I was the most excited about, and the market ruined it for me. I'm pouting. Not really, but this was supposed to be, in my mind, it was 3 weeks of breakouts. Multiple days of breakouts. 3 sessions of breakout. And I was looking for the... I hate giving trades names because I think it's annoying when people do that, but it's a joke, so don't take it serious. The pink rabbit, the thing that stands out the most to me. Cool setup. 3 sessions of breakout. 3 peaks. High of day reversal back to previous day's high, but they already came down and pinned into it, so we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great stream. Thank you all for participating and chit-chatting, and really just enjoy interacting with you all. So we'll be doing this again for the weeks to come. Hope you all are enjoying these, and I'll see you all on Discord. I'm going to go get into the trading session and prep my screens and things like that. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.